Hello, welcome to this rather damp, miserable November afternoon. Let me introduce you to another piece of work that I'm actually working on, which you haven't seen on the channel thus far, but I might have mentioned it in passing. Before we dive into it, if you don't mind hitting that old subscribe button, and also hit the like button too. It does help the algorithms. The channel's not growing as fast as I want it to, and I need the algorithms to start working for me. There's a lot of content here and it's not reaching the people it needs to reach. If you fancy buying me a pint, well, there's a link scrolling across the bottom of the screen right here, right now. No obligations, of course. So this car belongs to a customer of mine. It's in his garage and he has been going over and rebuilding it, but getting me involved on the bits that he's less sure about. Very competent owner. He bought it as a complete jigsaw, 1,000-piece jigsaw, and has had the body shell completely refurbished. There wasn't actually that much wrong with it. Small areas welded around the base of the A pillar. B pillar was pretty much okay. Sections let into the sills, and as usual with Rover P6s, this has had work around the D pillar. He's then had all the external panels, which are, as you can see, mostly not on the car, reattached. Beautiful paint job, absolutely stunning. So the work that I've been involved in with this really is helping him sort the wiring loom out, because none of it was connected. Sorted all the fuel delivery out, so we've, rather than go for the reserve tap, which is down here, we've put in a facet fuel pump on the heel board of the boot, plumbed that in, so the feed and return still are in place, but there's no reserve now, and it just runs from the tank. Set all the dash up, configured all of the engine. The engine was rebuilt by someone else, but all I've really done is just connect all of the engine up. Just really helping the customer, advising the customer as we go through the whole thing. Put the roof on. Had a devil of a job getting these trims aligned up here, but that's largely because the vinyl on the roof, and we've got a sunroof in this roof as well. There's a Webasto going in there, which will be featured at some point. The car, I should tell you by the way now, it's a J plate 1971. It's a Rover P6 aficionados. It's a 481A suffix, so it's quite an early car. It's quite an early V8 on the new style dash, and you can see it's a bit murky today, a lot of moisture in the air, but overall this thing is going to be flipping brilliant. And I do love my P6s, really do. I had one years and years and years ago, and friends have P6s. So what we're going to do today, we've already bled the brakes through, so the brakes have been completely renewed throughout. We bled the brakes through. Although the brakes are inboard at the back, there's only one bleed nipple, and I was able to bleed that relatively easily, but because there's no fluid anywhere in the system, there's quite a lot goes in. We used about 3/4 of a litre to fill the entire system, so it's one way. It's quite a way different from Range Rover stuff. I've just filled the rad, 25% antifreeze solution's gone in there. I've topped up the gearbox, because the gearbox was supplied empty, but the torque converter was half filled. So I've topped the gearbox up. Going to top up the power steering, and we're going to try and, well, basically going to try and start it up. So in preparation for that, all I've really done is we've poured a gallon of fuel into the tank. We've primed the system and checked for leaks, because obviously we've got a number of connections on these SU carburetors around the float chambers. In fact, that float chamber's just a little bit loose there, isn't it? What if that's going to cause me problems? We'll check on that. Anyway, so there was no issues when I started. Sorry, when I primed the fuel system, so we had no leaks on that. Topped up the cooling system. Check the automatic gearbox. I'm just about to put some ATF into the power steering reservoir here so we can bleed that through. Oh, and we check for a spark, because while it looks like it's a virgin ignition system, it's actually got a lumination system fitted, which I extended the loom and put the lumination box here, so it will be inside the glove box of the car. I've been over and checked as many of the electrics as I possibly can. I've found everything to be working. The only minor issue I had was with the original alternator, which doesn't have the regulator box or anything fitted into it, as these cars never did. There's a regulator control box over there, it's the red one, and then there's a little relay down here which is for the light on the dash, and the original were broken, so we replaced that with this replacement here, part number 06.2054/N. Warning, and I couldn't tell you where it came from. Andover Norton International Limited, www.andover-norton.co.uk, and it worked beautifully. The only thing I had to do was I had to break the three-way connector to take one spade off the terminal on the end there, so two spades just pop straight on, and then the third goes on its own. I didn't have my kit here at the time, and we've also got things like flasher relays and stuff up here. The customers put all of this sound deadening in kill mat in, which makes a massive difference. I mean, Rovers, I remember driving these, smoking around in these Rovers back when I was in my formative years, and they were so blooming comfortable. Just unbelievably comfortable. Smooth cars, quiet, kadunk doors. So yeah, we're at this phase in the project. There's a fair amount of work has taken place already, as I've said. I've not done it all, the customer's done a fair amount. But I've really been on hand to advise the customer when he's come up against a sticky point, to ask my advice. Put the deck and the boot lid on the other day. Right, so let's get ready to see if we can start this thing. So let's have a chat with Sean, the owner.
Hi, welcome to my garage. This is my 1971 Rover P6 V8 automatic, and it's been restored to a nut and bolt standard, show standard, and Richard is my expert mechanic that is helping me with getting across the finishing line.
Okay, me speaking now. How did you manage to get hold of Richard to do this job?
Well, you've got that great YouTube channel, and originally I was looking for a stag, but then fell in love with this project, and here we are.
And here we are. So we're about to do the big start.
Fingers crossed.
So the engine has run before, because it's been on a dyno, hasn't it?
Yes, Penguin Motors.
Ah, right, okay. So Penguin Motors built the engine up, and they've built it to a slightly lower, it's not the original specs, you're not running the very high compression pistons on this, are you?
No.
Right, so it's more usable.
Yeah, and it's got a Hurricane cam in it, so I think he got it in a dyno up to about 165, 170.
Pretty good. Not bad then. So it should be a fairly healthy engine. And as far as we're aware, as long as we've got a spark and we've checked for that, as long as we've got the fuel supply and we've checked for that, it should start, really,
yes,
shouldn't it?
And of course it's electric fuel pump.
Yep.
Electronic ignition.
Yep.
And all wired in and plumbed in by you, Richard.
Yee. Been fun. I love projects like this. Right, let's give it a go and see if we can start it. So the choke cable's not attached at the moment, purely because the centre console's not in place. So I'll need to operate the chokes manually while Sean operates the starter, and we'll see if it goes. We're recording. Yes, we're definitely recording. Right, okay. Battery connected?
Yes.
Right, okay. I'll keep my hand out of the way of the big red fan. So it pumps on. Yeah, no leaks. Go on. Give it a flick. No way! Right. Power steering. We top it up. That's ridiculous.
Amazing.
Richard. Drawing the fluid through with the power steering.
Amazing.
Just sucking this fluid in. Let's say it takes 2 litres of it.
turn the steering. Oh yeah, coming through, moving through. Goes. Oh wow, moving through. Power steering works. Noisy, the belt's slipping a little bit. I might tighten that up. Power steering. Well done, Richard. Power steering original. Yeah. My dad did that. No, not trying. Oh, right. Remember, first time I drove my dad's car, I nearly fucking crashed it. It's such a heavy car. Yes. No, not a lot of these have power steering. What we're going to find out though is that the coil springs are different. The power steering cars, the non-power steering cars, because the extra weight of the pump and the box and the reservoir and so forth. Right. That's not going to come off there. That's great. Right, we're off choke anyway. We told you on the 2 litres, I don't know, my dad's car used to, he would conk out when he come to a junction. Yeah, vapor. He wouldn't start, he had to jump out, pull one of the car pipes off. Oh, right, yeah. Like a vapor lock. Yeah. Well, right, that's pretty much topped up to where it should be. Oh, yeah. That's better. It's a bit slow coming around this way. Yeah, it will be. You need to clean the system halfway through. Flat tyres. Right, put that back on for now. Right, gearbox next. How's the full position looking? That's alright. The ammeter is showing negative. The amateur is, yeah. Well, look at that. It's a have you got a body from there? It's all over that. Oil and that, right. We'll put a body at the back in a minute. Right, I'll tell you what to do. No, don't turn it off. We need a way of. If you go on the other side, I'll put my foot on the brake, I'll put my hand on the brake. What we really want to do is to put it into drive. Servo's working. Right, okay, so if you put it into reverse and give it front. Yeah, on, hold it on. We're in there in this. Are you ready? Yeah. That's next. Keep going down. Beautiful. That's one. Right, that's the top again, so it's begin. Right, into, so go down to 2. That's the neutral. Oh, that's right. Moving.
move forward then, yeah, we
Yeah,
need
they
to go.
do.
Yeah,
Just leave the gearbox on the floor.
Right, so we've got no fluid in there at all at the moment. Where's the funnel? The funnel's over there, Sean. I'll just... I think the next thing on this will be... I'm not convinced these cars are in a full state of tune. Did you tune the cars, or is it just like baseline them? It runs sweet enough, but it's a bit wobbly for my taste. That should pass the 50p test out quite easily. Okay. All good. It's at the low mark, which is good.
Not made, obviously the interior, I know, but what are the major things you still got to do?
yeah, the headline.
Come back, I'll see.
So, boots on. Yeah, front and rear screens were in. They went here last time, right? All the same full trim. Rear quarters are on. Seal here. Same seal wall. Same seal all the way through. That wasn't here last time we were around. I've been doing all this film that Sam's in.